Did you like the referentialness of this episode?
Not particularly. You know, this show always keeps shooting itself in the foot by showing you stuff from the stuff that you like, and it makes you remember the stuff you like, and it makes you remember how much you don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
The clip of Nimoy, it's just it always works. You could have him like show a clip of him screaming at a key grip about a coffee or something.
Right. Yeah, just ordering room service in his trailer or something.
Oh, Leonard, Spock. But you know, it's all like that stuff I actually liked quite a bit. I liked I don't like them tying it directly to the pep talk that she gave him before she jumped into the future, but I liked her pulling up those files and seeing what he had done with his life and how hard he had worked for the Vulcan and Romulan reunification, all that kind of stuff. I thought that stuff worked really well.
Yep. It relies a lot on knowing that Spock exists outside of the show, I think.
Right.
Like if it's the franchise carrying the burden of selling that storyline for her, where she is taking an audience member's perspective because Burnham's not operating on any information besides he did this thing, you know, but where we've through the podcast, we've seen all of Spock's adventures. You kind of understand his timeline of what that took to do and everything. So you appreciate it, and she is appreciating it in a way that feels like it's an audience member watching this at the same time.
Yeah, I'm really curious how the tail end of the reunification went, seeing as the last known action of Spock was half of Romulus assuming he helped blow it up. But
yes, I
guess maybe that's unfair. I guess it's just Nero who thought he blew it up, but
correct. Just the miners.
Let's just put it this way: where Nero goes one, they go all. I'm saying there's probably more of them out there.
Where did Vulcan blow? Vulcan blew up in the Kelvin timeline.
Yes, Kelvin timeline. Nero blows up Vulcan.
Nero does that. Yes, that's what I was getting confused about. Okay. Yeah,
using red matter, which I'm still convinced they're going to link to the Red Angel somehow. But
I actually didn't mind the linking in this episode. I thought that this was as good a job as you can do of combining TNG lore with what they're connecting to in the future. My real problem is that I could see a whole season based on spending time with the Romulan and Vulcan reunification thing. And what they're doing here is they seem to be done with this storyline. And this is where the show is failing at episodic storytelling here, because there's way too much information to just walk into this scene and then walk out and be like, yeah, well, whatever. Like we figured out all that stuff.
Did you watch the trailer for next week?
I did. It looks terrible again.
The first thing they say is, we've found the source of the burns. Like, okay. That wasn't so hard.
Okay, give them credit. It happens at the end of the episode, probably.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just like they truck through so much stuff so quickly.
I think there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can dig out of this, where two societies that used to be one split apart, and now they're coming back together, and they have very opposite views of how they're supposed to live in this world. And you get a taste of it here, where there's the judges or the Romulan Vulcan arbiters have a lot of interesting lines, where the full Romulan one accuses the half-breed, half Vulcan, half Romulan of, you're always in the middle and you never take a stand on anything. There's all this like interpersonal dynamic stuff. I'm like, this is fascinating. This would be interesting if they spent 4 episodes on this new Vulcan planet and how the Vulcan society is trying to reconcile with the Romulan emotionality and the fact that they lie about everything, and that they were a culture that's built around subversion and subterfuge and living in darkness and the shadows, and the Vulcan society is open. How are they going to try to cancel that out? And it's just too short. And the stuff that they do focus on is just in service of Burnham having her emotional epiphany during this trial, and then it shunts off everybody that, like, the planets of the Vulcans and the Romulans that I would assume Star Trek fans are actually more interested in than Michael Burnham's continuing adventures at this point.